Hi guys, so Nintendo just finished up their press conference or direct digital, whatever the hell they choose to call it these days. Nintendo is the oddball in the gaming industry because they choose to do whatever the fuck they feel they want to do. And I think that that is primarily why they suck as a company right now. Um, with their new Nintendo Direct E3 edition or whatever they choose to call it, I sat down and watched it from beginning to end, and it was a very painful experience. Let's just say Nintendo just doesn't understand their core audience anymore. They really are out of touch with what we want as gamers and us longtime Nintendo fans. They started off this press conference with these stupid, like, Muppets, and they made a Muppet for each of the executives, Iwata, Reggie Fils-Aimé, and Shigeru Miyamoto, which they eventually morph into Star Fox characters, really cheesy and stupid, and then they show off Star Fox. The problem with Nintendo's Direct is that they're not direct. They have a lot of filler shit in between where they're like, we wanted to talk about the philosophy behind why this game is this way, and no one cares. I mean, at least I don't, and it was really putting me to sleep. But the games that they were really showing off are games that I'm not at all interested in. Maybe the only one I am is probably Star Fox, but that's it. They showed off Star Fox, Fire Emblem, what else? Oh, they showed off a 3DS edition of Hyrule Warriors, which it will include all the DLC, which should have been free anyway. They are making a new Zelda 3DS game. It's based off of Zelda Between Worlds, or Link Between Worlds, I believe it was called. And it's like a Four Swords adventure, but based off of that game. So it has the same stupid no ammo where you have this refillable bar that just auto regenerates as you use items. I really think that's cheesy and stupid. But then they also showed that Link is a cross-dresser, because one of the key points they said was how Link can dress in all sorts of outfits, and these outfits give him powers and stuff like that. And one of the ones they show is Link in a Zelda's dress. I was cracking up laughing. And it really looks stupid, and I'm probably going to pass on it. Then they show off Xenoblade Chronicles X. Again, another game I'm not interested in. I really could care less about it. They show off Fire Emblem. They show off a Metroid 3DS title, which is causing me dread, but it's not Metroid Dread. It's a stupid Federation Force. It's like a party game based off of Metroid, but Samus isn't even in it. So how the hell do you call it a Metroid game? And, you know, maybe Samus is in there, but I didn't see her at all in the trailer. And it just looked like they just, passed on it. I mean, it's really shovelware in my opinion. It's for that, kiddie audience and stuff. And it really looks like Metroid Prime Hunters 2.0. But the 2.0 removes the only character we actually give a shit about. So it's just a bunch of nameless people. It's kind of like Halo's, where Halo is doing that thing where it's just like your co-op crap, and the focus is being taken away from Master Chief. Same exact thing here. So it's a Metroid title I am not at all interested in playing. Then they show off some Animal Crossing. They show off a version for the 3DS, a version for the Wii U. Yeah, Kira, she was excited about it, but I wasn't. I could care less. Then they show off a few third-party titles. They show off Yoshi's Epic Yarn, or Woolly World, or whatever the hell they call it. They showed that game off last year, and it's still not out. But I'm just not at all interested. Mario Maker, I like it, but again, it's not really for me. It's not really a big deal. Did they show off anything surprising? No, they didn't. And yeah, they didn't talk about the new console, which they said they weren't going to do. And I went into this expecting absolutely nothing on the Nintendo NX. But it seems like they're probably just doing this to buy some time. I think next year it's all about NX. I really think that that's going to be the main focal point of E3. I think Nintendo themselves are just saying, you know what, fuck the Wii U. We're not going to bother putting anything on there. We're just going to give you guys these little gay games that no one actually gives a shit about. And we're going to focus all those hits on the next gen console. And I'm disappointed. I really feel like the Wii U was a complete waste of time and money because I haven't had any memorable experiences with it. The thing is over 2,000 miles away from me right now, and I don't miss it. What I do miss is the good old days of Nintendo where they release these really good full-fledged games, but now they can't even be bothered to do that. You know, with Mario, I wanted Nintendo to do something at the same caliber as Mario Galaxy. Mario Galaxy was untimed unless there were these special, challenge modes where you had to get through a stage really quick or what have you. But you could just fuck around as much as you wanted, and you had this little central world, kind of like the castle. Even Mario Sunshine is far better than Mario 3D World. Mario 3D World was literally just a little bit bigger than Mario 3D Land. The levels were a little bit longer, but that's it. It's a time thing. The levels are extremely short, and I really didn't care for it. I played it. I beat the whole game within, I think, 3 days, and then I haven't touched it since. And yeah, of course there's going to be people out there that feel like that game is great, but I don't. I want full-fledged games. I want, a good, I would say, Zelda game, which they never released for the Wii U yet. They have this one that was supposed to come out in 2016. It's been delayed, and they're not even mentioning when it's going to come out. Plus, they're not going to have it at all at E3 this week. So it's a safe bet to assume that it's going to be pushed off until the next-gen console. I mean, if you think about the scale that they're looking at going with this game, I think someone in management said, hey, look, fuck the Wii U. This console is just going to be holding this game back. Let's push it off until the next generation. And it's a shame. But I have a feeling that that's what's going to happen here. But Nintendo needs a major shakeup in management. And, when I got the Wii U, originally my mind was that Nintendo would do okay. It's high definition. But then when Sony and Microsoft announced their consoles, I'm like, are you fucking serious, Nintendo? Like, your system is just not even in the same league. It doesn't have what these other consoles have. This Xbox One is much more powerful than the thing. It's faster, even though it's slower than the PlayStation 4. But, with Nintendo, and this is one of my biggest pet peeves with the Wii U, is the eShop is useless. And the reason it's useless is because it's slow as shit. I have 150 down internet connection here. The only thing that actually utilizes the full speed of my connection is Steam. Steam, I download games at 16 megabytes a second. The Xbox One doesn't download anywhere near as fast, even though it's hardwired. The PlayStation 4 does not download anywhere near as fast, even though it's hardwired. And the Wii U, just forget about it. It probably uses just like 5% of the actual speed of my internet connection, and it's ridiculous. Then on top of that, the console is very slow to install the things it downloads. A lot of times the install takes longer than the actual download, which is ridiculous. The system was never truly designed well. Its flash storage is very tiny. I really hope that Nintendo does better with the NX. They have to. Because a lot of people are like, you know what, fuck you, Nintendo, because even your first-party franchises are starting to suffer because of these piss-poor decisions. And, my favorite series is Metroid. I mean, yeah, I have, the Triforce. I like Zelda, but Metroid, they haven't released a good Metroid game since, I would say, Metroid Prime 2. Metroid Prime 3 has all the same shortcomings that more of their more recent titles have, where they're shorter, they hold your hand the entire time, and they treat you like a moron. And that was my problem with Metroid Prime 3, is that Metroid Prime 3, I loved the lore behind it. I loved the whole mother brains, and you would understand what they were originally developed for, how they got corrupted, and used for evil purposes. I loved everything about that story, but it was such a cheesy, poorly designed, poorly developed game. And it's what Nintendo has become. Same thing with Mario. As I said, the last good Mario game was Galaxy 2. Since then, it's all about party games. Let's add more multiplayer, which is fine. You can have your multiplayer, but there's certain game series that just don't need it. Mario, I think, when it comes to a full-fledged first-player experience, the last good one is Galaxy or Sunshine. Those were decent games. I mean, the Galaxy was excellent, and I would say the best Mario that Nintendo has ever made. But they're really just, it's really a big mind fuck. I don't understand how they think their current practices are going somewhere. And they spent a good, I would say, 10 minutes discussing Amiibo toys. Talking about, oh yeah, we're going to integrate this with Skylanders, so we came up with these, and now the Amiibos can get stacked on these fucking cars. And it's just like, Nintendo, what do you want to be? Do you want to be a toy company, or do you want to be a video game company? Because it seems like they're putting so much focus on these fucking Amiibos that, for one, are severely overpriced for what you do with them. I bought a bunch. I bought like 5, and to me, they were completely useless. I didn't understand why. I mean, if you want to collect them and hang them on a wall, then great. It's a nice little showpiece that you could put there. But they really want to integrate a lot of this into the games. And I don't know, I think Nintendo sees the success of Disney's Infinity or Skylanders, and they're like, hey, let's do the same thing. And sure, it's going to cater to kids, of course. You're going to have kids say, hey, Mom, Dad, I want 10 of these things for Christmas. But put less focus on that. Put more focus into your core franchises, the core audience that constantly makes a mockery of you, because you guys give the entire gaming industry a reason to lose their respect. You listen to these, like, for instance, when you listen to YouTube E3 Live, for instance, they're like, yeah, that's it, it's the big 2, blah, blah, blah. It's no longer the big 3, and that's because you guys decide, hey, let's just do this stupid scripted shit that's on Nintendo Direct. They don't even show gameplay. They were just showing fucking, just these over-the-top trailers that really don't even show you what the hell the game is. At least, Microsoft and Sony show you a pre-scripted demonstration of these games, even though their movements are so, unhuman. So, I don't know what you guys think, but I think Nintendo is seriously a shell of their former selves. I really think that if they don't change at all, they're fucked. And, I mean, I'll do a video in the future. I'll make one saying, hey, this is why I think Nintendo needs to make their next console. This is my suggestions on how not to fuck it up like they have been doing the past 2 generations. I think their last good, decent console was the GameCube. The GameCube had everything a gamer wanted. A good controller, very comfortable. The load times were awesome. But then the Wii, they're like, hey, let's just fuck everything up. They made a shitload of money on the Wii. That's great, fantastic, but you pissed off your loyal fan base at the same time. To the point where if next generation, when people have a choice, do I want to get a Sony console, a Microsoft console, or do I want to get Nintendo? They're almost guaranteed to go with Microsoft or Sony, because they realize that Nintendo just doesn't give a shit. So that's my rant. So Nintendo, thank you for once again fucking up your E3 press conference or Direct or whatever you fucking call it these days.